People who get locked into a vision. All right, that's it, man. That's their drive. That's their passion. Critics don't matter. This don't matter. They're going to do whatever it fucking takes to be the best at what they do.
Elite FTS Table Talk Podcast. We're back. Episode number 54. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
All right. Today we're going to do something a little different. We got a new segment, more or less, for Table Talk, and it's called Strength History. We've been doing a lot of posts on our Instagram with amazing moments in strength, whether it's anything from, World's Strongest Man events or just amazing runs at some meets and so forth, or even stuff that we've even seen on YouTube or Instagram that's just like mind-blowing, and you have to repost or comment on it.
Yeah. We've pulled a couple out of Powerlifting USA, which, despite the name, the really only strength sports magazine, there's probably like one more or something that I don't know about, Milo, and then other stuff like what Dave had personally, those pictures.
Yeah,
But
and
anything that's strength history.
that's exactly right. And we're here. I'm Tim Edmonds. This is Mason Nowak.
Back again.
Mason.
Second most, I was going to say popular, but reoccurring co-host, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Guest.
you bring a lot to the table, especially as it comes to sports conditioning, which is a very important and popular topic. But also, I think you know a lot about these meets, and I think you've made yourself a student of the game when it comes to strength. And
Literally.
I've never seen anyone get so geeked out about the amount of Powerlifting USA magazines that Dave has here.
It is. We've got like a strength library here. Like it's literally, I mean, what it is, it's a collection of someone who's a very avid reader of everything, but it's all the strength stuff he's ever collected. Like it's wild. Like that's a gift in and of itself, just to be here with everything that he's collected. Like any book you can name. Like that's been half of what I've done here is like, oh, I've heard of this book or person once ever, but this is the only book that I might be able to read more stuff about it. And you just pop into whichever of like the 9 shelves we have, and you can pull it out and find just about anything you'd be interested in here, which includes all these Powerlifting USA magazines. I have to imagine it's like most of them that have been printed, and that's assuming we have all of them here, and he doesn't have a third stash of
I think
shelves.
He said he has all but like one.
Probably like loaned one and didn't get it back.
Yeah. Well, today's going to be cool. So, we kind of got warmed up and started talking about some cool stuff as it relates to this, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But what we're going to do is Mason and I each selected a few videos that we found. It's in no particular order. There is no rankings for these.
There's no rules.
No rules. We just found them. We're going to show them. We're going to chat about them. And then, obviously with this channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. In the comments, leave us some ideas of some of the videos that you've seen, some amazing feats of strength. Last night we posted that funny meme with the world's strongest man carrying the groceries and putting them in the back of the car, and that's what I do. That's my feats of strength. One trip grocery run.
Yeah.
But Josh is going to queue up. Josh, would you mind queuing up our first video, and then we'll take a look here.
Okay. And number 9, the refrigerator race. What about it, Terry?
Well, it's an uphill race, slightly uphill. The refrigerator, as we said before,
Are we giving
weighs a
live
little over
commentary to
400
this, or are we just letting it roll?
Yeah, go ahead.
Body.
It's up to you, Mace.
Well, this was my clip,
Supports on it, which
so
allow-
it's cool. You can just go hop on YouTube, look up World's Strongest Man just about any year, and someone's got him on there. Yeah. And it's fun because if you've ever competed in Strongman or if you watch Strongman, like I know I keep up with all the deadlift live streams now is what our Strongman is, but been to a contest, watching Arnold Classic, etc. You see a lot of stuff that's the same. Like, the opening event for this was like, it was a log press, although it was literally logs, not, our nice standard milled ones we have these days.
Look, Kazmar was an absolute animal back then. Or still is, right?
Yeah, true. He's still quite a burly guy, but I feel like that's at least half of his appeal is, he dominated how many years in a row, but also, Jesus, he's just a big piece of walking traps.
I think what they were saying that these coolers or refrigerators were like 400 pounds. Is that right?
I think it was over 400 pounds. Something like a weird... It's like you want to say it's like a yoke walk, but really I have no idea how it actually feel relative to it. It almost just looks like a stupid heavy like hiking backpack, because that's like around like his waist more than it is like his.
Yeah, their angle looks quite a bit different.
Yeah.
Than the yoke walk.
And the thing is, I don't know about like, I look at that refrigerator and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's obviously heavy.
Yeah.
And then you probably have some smart asses that are like, I could do that. But the interesting thing about this in particular is that how they're carrying it, like you said, on their back, but on top of that, it's like refrigerators these days. I was not too long ago moving a refrigerator out of this tiny basement in Bexley, Ohio, which is just outside of Columbus, and these are all homes that were built like by General Custer in 1804, like a long time ago. So their like stairway going up is so narrow and thin, and we were carrying a wine refrigerator up from a basement, and it had to have been 1,000 damn pounds.
Yeah.
But it was probably 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And we could not even move it with straps and everything. And I'm watching these guys, and it's just, that's incredible.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I guess, I don't know, there's kind of a common misconception in Strongman that you don't know what the events are going into it. Like occasionally there's a mystery event, but usually, like the guys at the Arnold Classic, they know what the events are, however many weeks ahead of time, so they actually get to train. But this might be where that misconception comes from, because even if they knew what they were getting into, where are you going to get your hands on a giant log that with handles cut into it, or where are you going to get this weird refrigerator contraption that you hope is remotely near what you're actually going to do?
Yeah, how do you train for that?
Yeah.
Farmer's walks, and then,
load up a hiking backpack with 400 pounds, apparently.
Yeah.
We lost video on our television.
Yeah, the clip was over.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, let's roll into the next one while we're at it, Josh. That was interesting, though. 1979.
Yeah, that one stood out to me because it's fun to see the crazy kind of stuff they did that still stands. Like they had. It was like a wheelbarrow. It was like an old like hot rod engine converted to like a wheelbarrow, so it had like two handles. But you still have wheelbarrow type stuff as like Strongman events, or at least like any sort of frame or trap bar, like side handle Strongman race. And they had the Playboy bunny squat contraption where there was like every time you completed a single with 4 Playboy bunnies, you'd go up to 5 and then 6. So that was at least a squat, although pretty creative. But what the hell is a refrigerator run,
All right, we got another one here, guys.
All right, let's check it out.
Number 9, the refrigerator race. What about it, Terry? And number 9, the refrigerator race. What about it, Terry?
Well, it's an uphill.
And another part of it that's sort of fun is back then, there were really no strongmen. The people that were in there was a pig farmer and a random NFL player and a couple power lifters was really the closest you had to any sort of strength athlete. But you'd see him shine in random ways. Like the NFL guy won like 4 of the events. They'd interview him and he was like, yeah, this seemed like it'd be fun to do, and it is fun, so cool. Versus now we have guys who dedicate every hour of their lives to strongman.
Strongman.
Yeah, over the course of like a decade too. It's not like, oh, I had 6 months to prepare for this. It's I've been competing in this 3 times a year, and every waking moment has been dedicated to being 6'7", 400 pounds.
That's a good point. And if you look at like, you watch the history, I think World's Strongest Man's channel on YouTube is actually pretty interesting because it has like events from back into the
1979
70s, right? At least. And you look at the change in these guys' physiques over the years, and it has to, you have to think, man, this evolution's got to be a real thing, And these guys go from, Kazmar obviously looks pretty pretty big there, but we've
He's
saw some
probably
ones
over 300 maybe, but
yeah, we've seen some ones where it just looks like an out of shape guy that's like
their heaviest guy was like 400 something pounds, and it wasn't the same 400 pounds you see Thor carrying these days.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, and now these guys look like 7 foot tall Greek gods, and they're moving insane amount of weight.
Yeah.
So it's like it goes back to your point. Is like, were they specializing back then? No, they were just doing whatever their real job was, and they trained too. But
maybe they trained.
Maybe they trained.
Maybe they were just a freak they picked up, on the side of the road. They're like, holy shit, you're the strongest man in some county in Alabama, and so
that's right.
Come to World's Strongest Man.
What do you think? What are you doing this weekend? I don't know.
Want to win some money and be on British television?
Sounds good to me.
So Mason, explain this one here.
This
is the Bill Pearl.
So this was the intermission contest performance, I guess, of the World's Strongest Man. So Bill Pearl, they said he's like 50 or something in that clip, but when he was like in his 20s. Well, I looked him up because I saw, of course, in the vast library we had, Bill Pearl has a book that was some combo of biography, I believe, plus training methods. And he's 4 times Mr. Universe. I think it's like pre-Olympia days, beating out Sean Connery, Frank Zane, and Sergio.
It's not Sean Connery from.
No, yeah, it is.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah, he used to be a bodybuilder.
No shit.
Yeah. Unless I'm incredibly mistaken, but I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure.
The guy who talks like this.
Yeah, it's Sean Connery. Of course, back in. Bill Pearl was freaky, jacked and stuff, but a lot of those, 1940s bodybuilders didn't look like a Ronnie Coleman or a
right.
big Rammy these days. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Sean Connery used to be like a Mr. Universe competitor.
No shit.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, this podcast is informative.
Yeah. So
next clip on that note here.
We didn't get the video.
We're not getting the video.
That balloon thing.
Oh, I played it twice already. It didn't show up for you guys.
Yeah, we got no signal, and we might have come unplugged there. But so
it's showing right now. We got.
It just says no signal. It's like the TV setting screen. But
so in that video that he played, so he's blowing up.
He's blowing a hot water bottle. So this is kind of showing its time. 20 years ago. I don't know if people still use those. I could be mistaken. But a hot water bottle was like you'd put hot water on it. It's like a heating pad, old school heating pad. So it's not like he's
it's
just
like thick, super thick.
It's
rubber.
not meant to be inflated. It's specifically designed to not be popped and to hold hot water that is going to expand and shit like that.
Blew it up.
Yeah, he blows it up, which even just getting your the amount of pressure you get in each breath when you exhale has to be nuts.
How do you train for that?
That's those cool kids elevation masks has to be the key.
The elevation masks?
Well, that's what it is. It has to be literally like some sort of diaphragm strength. And that's what kind of made me laugh, because those are some of the things that we don't do anymore because they don't make any sense, frankly. Like no one's like, oh man, we got the strongest diaphragm in the gym. The pre-bench press days when we didn't have a single.
Let me tell you about this
lift.
dude's diaphragm.
Yeah, exactly. It's ripped. I got an ultrasound the other day. It's huge.
Well, maybe what's that?
Is that working?
Our video's up.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's
Bill Pearl.
Well, in the same contest, they have the stuff. People still do this, but like the rebar bending and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I saw one. He's
He's
like bending this rebar over their head.
Yeah, literally, it was on their head.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Why'd they take that out, you think?
It's almost like it's less interesting. So, well, I've seen like contests still do like bar bending, but I think that's more of a local thing because it's weird. We almost moved away from the freak show circus stuff to freak show stuff, but standardized. So maybe it's more relatable because now we see deadlifts and log presses and axle presses.
What about like the power team that goes into churches and like tears Bibles or not Bibles, but like phone books in
yeah.
half.
Well, that's the roots. It's circus, like that's why Strongman doesn't have some separate evolution from circus Strongman. That's what it was. It's all like, hey, what's this crazy shit we can do that's gonna look awesome? Like I've seen local contests do like fire hydrant presses. Like I don't know where the hell people got fire hydrants, but they
look heavy.
The real ones I think go like way deep into the ground, but they cut them down and fill them with like concrete, and they're throwing in a press medley, and they're like, okay, press your log, press your axle, and now just figure out how the hell to press a fire.
It's showmanship.
Hydrant. Yeah, it's fun. You can pull a random person and bring them in and be like, hey, look at this really heavy thing. We're gonna move it somewhere else, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, I can't move that an inch.
When you were Do we get the next clip, Josh? Yep. All right, let's go into the next clip. Okay, so this is my boy. Let's just let this play for a second.
Yeah.
Set the stage for anyone that's listening. Ronnie Coleman.
I like the soundtrack to this.
The Tupac.
I think it was Snoop Dogg. I can only half hear it.
Double G.
Yeah. Gotta get the bicep flex in before your squat.
So this is, I think, is this where the back slap started?
I don't know if it's where.
Yeah, I think that's probably been around.
I think that's primal, I think people have been slapping back since we were lifting rocks in fields naked.
You mean 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Or was that just me?
I think it's funny. I mean,
look at that.
Yeah. I don't think you could make the argument that powerlifting is the reason Ronnie Coleman's Ronnie Coleman, but it's interesting, his roots in powerlifting and the fact that he's out here repping things out in a squat suit and knee wraps,
Well, that's the one. The reason I like this video is I saw it like a long time ago, and it's like one of the videos that I've seen.
It's
I'm
the
like,
video.
Holy shit, man!
Remember that time Ronnie Coleman repped out 800 pounds on squat?
And you've seen it so many times, but here he is in like this Metroflex shithole in Texas somewhere, right?
It's Texas, yeah.
And they got the Snoop beats playing. He's in his suit, and then he just goes and he looks like he's 2 weeks out from a show.
Oh yeah,
right.
Well, so did Ronnie Coleman ever not look like ready for a show?
He looks ready, so you got to figure he's in a depleting stage at some point, right? And then he goes and does weights like this. Yeah. And this isn't the only video of Ronnie doing heavy weights. I mean, you see him on the leg press, you see him doing his deadlifts, and the dumbbells that he like probably stacked together to do his presses. I mean, it's just
the dumbbells that cost you like $1,000 for just one pair because they're so damn heavy and so big.
Yeah, and Ronnie, I think that it's people can say he's one of the strongest bodybuilders.
For sure.
And he, everyone talks about, man, this guy just went in and trained hard. That's all the guy does. And I got to meet him a couple times, being up here at the Arnold, but then also with some of the other roles that I played. And he doesn't come off as like this like wild and crazy, weightlifter. He's like soft-spoken, very mild-mannered. But when he gets in the gym, he turns into the Hulk.
Well, I've heard that it's almost I wouldn't say it's a misconception because I don't think anyone consciously thinks about it, but like Ronnie's, like people say he's a pretty smart dude. Like he's not dumb. Like a lot, you see a big bodybuilder shouting, "Yeah, buddy," and he's got the accent, which can kind of throw a lot of people off if you aren't used to it. But I've heard he's a really smart dude, and a really nice and quiet, easygoing dude, not some constant raging bodybuilder like the stereotype might suggest.
He's got an incredible story, and everything from obviously what he was doing with his 8 Olympias, 9 Olympias, something like that, and him working as a police officer the entire time, like a full-time job. Like I saw a video of him, after a training session going into the locker room at the police station and like trying to put on his like bulletproof vest. And I'm like, man,
his chest already looked bulletproof.
Just an absolute machine, and a good dude. But I love that video. I love that video. What do we got next? Josh.
A certain 2002 Arnold Classic Strongman winner cannot be talked about due to other contracts, so our one of our segments got cut out of our strength history thing.
Well, listen, if we're talking about strength history, that was an important piece of history that people want to erase from the record books.
Yeah.
And
so just
go ahead. You tell them
just read about him. Read about the 2002 Arnold Classic Strongman winner who destroyed all the veteran strongman with 6 weeks of preparation after not training strongman for almost 6 years. But not only that, he had also been a U.S. Olympic medalist in Olympic weightlifting twice and a powerlifting record holder.
He won the Pan Am Games.
The 3 times Pan Am medalist. I guess I don't think he won, but Pan Am's is, high international caliber. Not the Olympics, but the second Olympics probably. And
Junior Olympics.
Yeah. 3 times U.S. national champion in Olympic weightlifting. Plus 953.5 pound squat in reps, 518 pound bench, 904 pound deadlift.
These are insane stats. Would you say this is the GOAT of the strongmen that no one's talking about?
Possibly. Of any strength athlete. Of every strength athletics competition that we really have, besides like Highland Games or CrossFit, which CrossFit didn't even exist.
So this is perfect. All right, listen, if you're going to comment who you think the GOAT is of the strongman, because Mason's putting up an incredible case for the 2002 Arnold Classic Strongman champion.
Yeah. Well, so the years after that's where Zydrunas came in, and that's who people usually go to as their GOAT. But it's funny because Zydrunas basically beat out the same guys as much as 2002 winner did. It wasn't like Zydrunas comes in and makes the gap even bigger, It was like perhaps the 2002 and the 2003 winner would have a very strong head-to-head if the 2002 wasn't busy making millions of dollars.
That's right. Man, that's incredible.
Oh, also, for all the people who want to say that Pudzianowski is the best World's Strongest Man of all time, he only competed in World's Strongest Man when Zydrunas didn't compete in World's Strongest Man because of weird political strongman things. Like, Zydrunas was competing in some weird off-brand division. He was in, the Great Value brand.
Trying to get it started, right?
No, he was pulled out with a bigger contract, basically.
Of course.
But people forget that because that federation faded into existence.
Here's the difference for me, though. When you talk about, obviously there's massive controversy with the NBA greatest of all times, right? And it's hard to compare stat for stat because they were in 2 different positions. They had teams, they had coaches, they had different seasons, and the league was more developed, the league was underdeveloped. Now, when you're talking about a strength event or strength sport, the numbers are straight across the board, but that's the thing that's difficult. So if you did a bench for bench, you could determine who's stronger, right? Or is there a pound for pound, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I know JM and Dave are on here answering. So I hate to be cynical, but at this point, it's a question you see all the time, and it's kind of like a combination of it's not worth asking, but also it's impossible to answer, and that's kind of why. Because like JM and Dave said, did people really get hundreds of pounds stronger? Because they think, and I agree, if you pull the best of 1995 out and you have them compete against the best of 2020, they're going to find a way to add that couple hundred pounds to their total. Maybe it's mental, maybe it's technical. We've got programming changes, not much. We've got drug, lifestyle, various protocol changes, but that probably wasn't the several 100-pound increase in averages that we see. I don't even think how much. I think the average powerlifting total is staying fairly the same over the years. I think it's just we've had bigger and bigger outliers, as we get more people. But that's what JM and Dave say. They say you pull a guy out, you pull out the best from any year, you slap him another year, they'll find a way to make it work. Because that's what it was. It's not, these guys aren't that much better. It's the same guys rising to the occasion. I think that's really true. I don't think, there's every year we just find a new freak. I think we have a freak every year, and if we make it happen, they're gonna put together what they need to do to win.
But were the guys from World's Strongest Man 6'9"?
That's for, I think for strongman it's a little different, but not really, because Eddie Hall's only 6'3" and he won, and they had some tall, a lot of.
Didn't he cheat though? No. I'm just kidding.
Oh jeez.
This is how we get boxing matches.
That's
Who you
right.
think's gonna win that, by the way, Mason?
Oh God, no one. The people who lined their pockets with millions of dollars because you just watched a bunch of fat guys box. I mean, not fat guys. Like, obviously, they're freaking strongmen. And, like, I compete in strongmen. They blow me out of the water 1,300 times over.
That's going to be an epic battle.
It's no God.
I will pay whatever it costs to watch it.
You remember when everyone had Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to be crazy," and then no one was like, "Hey, remember the fact those guys are really technical and defensive fighters who don't throw like knockout punches?" And everyone's like, "Why didn't they knock each other out?" It's going to be the same.
Or
thing.
even Mayweather versus McGregor, which was like, okay, I think I was like, oh yeah, it's Mayweather's sport. He's going to destroy him. And then McGregor actually put together something pretty interesting.
Better.
And you know what the worst part for that was for me?
What?
At the beginning, when it was all kind of going down, both of the guys, especially McGregor, is like amazing wordsmith and just can destroy you with his tongue. He just talks so much shit, and it like you actually feel bad for the Mayweather. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is so entertaining. And
Thor
you get
and
to
Eddie
the fight.
don't have that.
Well, you get to the end. You get to the fight, and then they like beat the hell out of each other. And then at the end, they're like hugging and high fiving, and like, yeah, we both just made $100 million. This is great. And they love each other, and they like helped each other make all this money. And it's like, oh, can you just keep the act going, guys? Especially if there's going to be a rematch, keep the act going.
No, please never give us a rematch of Mayweather.
I want a rematch.
Why?
I want a rematch.
Is McGregor ever going to win that? We put him against each other 1,000 times over. Maybe one time he wins.
Listen, I mean,
I want to see. I don't know who's the one that brought this up to me. I want to see Brock Lesnar lose 60 pounds and McGregor gain 60 pounds.
Any scenario that involves McGregor doing something like that outlandish, I guess I could get behind. But I'm not a big McGregor fan anyways, but I'll give you my McGregor hot take, is I think that wordsmith is what made him so dominant. I think he got in people's heads before matches started. Because everyone's like, oh my God, he said he was going to do this thing and he did it. And it's like, well, was it in McGregor's head or was it in the other guy's head that was going to happen? I think if McGregor never had his hands on the mic, he wouldn't have won as many fights.
See, you can't test that though.
You can't test
that.
But what we saw is we saw him fall off after he was beat one time. So then he had his illusion of being an untouchable god ripped away, and all of a sudden people could beat McGregor. I think.
Good point.
I don't know. That's Mason's hot take of the day.
Gosh, Mason's good. Hey, let's roll the next clip. That was good.
I don't remember.
Oh yes. So this scene is from Pumping Iron. It's the legend Franco Columbu, who is a short guy, but here you see him lifting a compact car in his hometown, Mother Sardinia.
I like the towel. Like, he doesn't want to stain the tight pants, so he's got like a little towel. I think
it was a gripping tool.
I think it was, but I like the involvement.
Either way, I wonder if this was he kind of stared down the car there at the end. I don't know if you saw. I was like,
"Fuck you, car!
I'm gonna beat that car's ass."
Come back for more. Try to park again.
Maybe he was looking at the driver. Like, you parked in front of my dad's shop. There's clearly no parking here. Move this piece of shit. And the driver's like, I can't. I'm stuck in here.
Yeah.
I will lift your fucking car out of here. And he does it. How much do you think that car weighed?
I don't know.
It's towards the back end, so
yeah.
The engine's in the front.
But so like, from my perspective, I immediately jumped to like a car deadlift for strongman. But they've got those frames where they put that really long lever arm in, and that makes it way easier. And it's still pretty hard to deadlift a car.
And you weren't sure, but you don't know if there was dead bodies in the trunk.
You don't know how much assistance the tight pants gave either.
That's right. Franco was in a lot of World's Strongest Man events too. Just for the record, he's actually extremely strong.
Yeah.
Guy was he was up for a few Universes and Mr. Olympias and
Oh yeah.
towards the end.
Well,
and-
that's a lot of those guys were bodybuilders back then. They'd be triple sport athletes, bodybuilding, strongman, powerlifting, because it was like, hell, I'm just really big, I'm really strong, this is fun for me. Just I'll enter whatever you'll pay me to do.
I remember I saw that video in I think it was high school or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, the dude just flat out lifted a
Moved
car.
the car.
Yeah, car moving. All right, let's see what we got up next. All right,
Speaking of strongmen,
this I remember.
Wait, this is 2017, is that right?
is it really that recent?
2016
Maybe-
or 17. So this is 1102.
500 kilos.
I saw this on the documentary.
Yeah,
I didn't see this live.
that was a good documentary.
But I remember this lift, and Eddie Hall literally put it all on the line for this one.
Well, yeah, he
Look at
he had that get in, get what was his, and get out. Because literally a year prior to this, he was still working full time as a mechanic, and he finally got up to the point where he could go and just be a full time strongman. And he's like, I'm gonna win World's Strongest Man. I'm gonna break the deadlift world record, and he did it. Got in, got out, which is wise.
So you see this, and in the documentary they talk about how like he has like sleep apnea, his heart condition, and
They all
I
do.
think he's like throwing down McDonald's every day and like
Cheesecake every day, I know, was
Cheesecakes.
at least part of the diet.
and he does this, and the documentary was for someone that isn't a strongman fan necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
It's for anybody.
Yeah.
And you watched it, and you see him like going up and doing this, and blood just squirting out of his nose, and like his wife like, no, Rocky, and then I'm like, and then you see him like, it wasn't an act. I mean, the dude
Yeah.
passed out, and it's
Yeah.
like, wow, nice knowing you, pal. Amazing lift.
Yeah.
I hope it was worth it. And
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to say that the one at the time the heaviest deadlift ever by a
By
large
far,
margin.
too,
Yeah. If you care about strength athletics at all, you got to say that's worth it. Because you can always diet down later and stuff like that, which he's doing
he
now.
died doing what he loved.
Exactly.
Well, I was so impressed by it. It was just a huge feat of strength.
Mm-hmm.
The video was just, it was emotional.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, man, nothing, I've never seen anything like that before. And he's now one of my favorite guys to watch.
Yeah.
Like I follow him on social media. Like, he's got a great personality.
Yeah.
But like what he was able to do and the things that he continues to do is just, it's mind blowing. Where do you rank him next to Mark Henry?
Well, I mean, it's hard to deny that Eddie's just like insane static strength, like his axle press record. This is what it almost infuriates you how strong Eddie Hall is. So he's got the axle press record as well, and he nearly strict presses that. And you want to know why? Apparently push press hurts his knees. So this man will clean almost 500 pounds and press it over his head, but he won't even use half of his body during it because it hurts his knees.
Which is probably why he was able to do the Viking press so many times.
Well, yeah, that's
Right, so-
that's really the only event you can't like. That's where all the guys that split jerk like me just get absolutely blasted in the Viking press.
What do they call a double?
Double dipping?
Double dip. You
right.
can't jerk the Viking press implement. You have to push press or strict press it. You cannot re-bend the knees after the first bend, or else you could like just overhead squat the implement over and over again.
Meanwhile, it hurts the guy, so that's why he doesn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. You take away this biggest advantage, and he's just like, this hurts my knees. I can pull a train, I can deadlift 1,100 pounds, but for me to use my legs, my push press, I'll just break the record strict. It's fine.
Unbelievable. Well, just a quick recap. If there is, you forgot to mention my new merch.
I have not. I was saving it. I was waiting, and then I forgot because it looks.
Well, they don't even have these available yet.
Yeah.
This is the.
Oh, I've got an eye on it. I would know if they had it.
This is the new Toxic shirt, which
Yeah.
is it'll be
a branch off of Corn Train for our next national disaster.
Next national
international
disaster. Is this the biohazard that is right around the corner in June? We don't know.
When
Stay tuned.
Yellowstone explodes and takes out a nuclear facility.
Anything's possible at this point. Let's just enjoy the ride. But
speaking of nuclear facilities and terrible toxic explosions, let's talk about the Hades Cerberus Hellfire smelling salts.
I've never done smelling salts before, and it's not because it's just because I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say it wasn't because of that, and I was going to say it's okay to say it is.
If I'm being honest, it's like, okay, well, why in the heck would I do it? But
for fun.
I've noticed, for fun.
Keep it correct real quick. I don't know. So we've got two of them because they're the same salt. They're the like ultra strength Cerberus one.
Hades.
But someone sent one of these bottles back because they said it didn't have anything in it. Zero anything at all.
No
so
stink.
we've got like a coin flip of potential. Either you're going to get normal or you're going to get the dead one.
So this is like Russian roulette.
Yes.
All right. So I'll either get some. I'm going to pick this one.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to do both.
And the plan is, if I like it,
if you like it,
I commute a long way
Yeah.
to work here, and because I think this place is totally awesome, and I have to get up super early in the morning because I come in here and train before work, but like it's exhausting in the morning.
Yeah.
And like some days I'm closing my eyes behind the wheel. And some
Not
days I'm
wise.
good, especially when it's raining and it's really
cozy.
dark, and I got a soft listening podcast on. And
nice quiet drive. No one's on the road
yeah,
yet.
and that's where I catch up on my sleep is on my ride down. But if this works, maybe. And does it kill your brain cells? I don't know.
That's all it does. That's why people do it.
So it does have written on there.
I don't have that many brain cells to give up.
It does have written on there, warning, very toxic, can cause death, which I don't think is an actual legitimate claim, but
You're not a You're not a
I am
doctor.
absolutely not a doctor, not even close. But as far as I know, it doesn't actually take away any oxygen or actually poison you. There's no heavy metals, so I think you're okay on brain cells.
All right. Well, maybe I won't do it.
Assuming you have one to spare.
This might be my last one. All right. So I just
go. You're leaking it out. You're cheating yourself. That wasn't the good one then. So the running joke was
Nothing.
this person sent back this one claiming it was dead. And
that one was dead. He was
that
right.
one. No, that one might actually be dead. But this one, I think, is the one someone claimed was dead, and we open it up, and it is the harshest hitting salts I've ever had. Yeah, this one's probably it.
Shit.
So that is the one that was sent back to us. It had nothing left at all upon the run. So I don't know if the guy didn't know how to operate the child-safe lock or what. Because I used that and like it felt like I had been pepper sprayed or something. Because I've used smelling salts before. And it's like, ooh, there's that little bite, that's nice, but never the immediate just assault on your senses.
Oh, you're gonna pepper spray.
And yeah, so that was if you've watched the Train Your Ass Off, there's a little joke that snuck in there where Dave's like, oh yeah, that one's dead.
But you learn that it's easier to push your ass through than it is to lift your shoulders up, right?
That ammonia's dead.
Yeah, it is. Ain't worth a shit. Got to refund the fucking guy.
And the joke is it is very much not. The thing's awful. I have no idea what they put into that one. Like
maybe the dude has like a deviated septum or something.
True.
And he can't smell anything. That felt like
it's like,
honest to God, like a train of fire ants.
Oh, it's
shot right up my nose, past my eye, and into this side of my brain.
The actual toxic warning might be legitimate on that one. I don't know what happened with that, whether it's like a concentrated hippo piss or whatever to get that much ammonia.
I'm gonna have to use some PTO to get back on track. Damn.
Workman's comp.
Well, so you're supposed to hit that and then do a
Yeah, like
lift or
yeah, you're like, oh, I've got this heavy single, I gotta get jazzed up, so I get this little bite in my senses before I go. Except this one's not just a bite; it's like you said, like 1,000 liquid fire ants in fury, straight into the eyeballs, and the nostrils.
That's probably what a murder hornet feels like if it bit you in the nose.
In the nose, yeah. Do you have the tissues? Because I know when I hit this, I needed them. I've like normally you can hit salts and you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. But like this one, you hit it and you go to deadlift, and you're like, what?
Let's just tell everybody, like, you don't want to try this at home. We're professionals.
It hurts.
And Mason, I actually missed that. Do you mind doing that again?
Are you pranking me?
I did actually miss it. You don't have to do it again.
You missed it.
I'll do it again.
Gosh,
I'm a good
you're
sport.
such a badass.
It's terrible.
You okay, bro?
No, I'm not.
I'm actually back to normal now.
I know this seems like the stupid overhyped thing, like you watch people on their stories, they hit their brand of ammonia. This isn't our brand. I've got a different one in my bag.
I think we do sell it though.
We do sell, but we sell a bunch of other ones. Like this isn't some chill of like, oh, this is the one we get the biggest profit margins on. Like that bottle, I don't know if it's
but
all
you know
the
what?
bottles.
Here's the other thing.
Sampled
Like,
other bottles.
I'm all for like stupid like bro events. Like
That's peak bro.
Have you seen the ones where they like eat like the hottest chip, like a hot chip challenge?
So
I would say that like a hot chip challenge would be safer. Than doing this kind of stuff.
I don't know about safer. I don't think it's dangerous, but it hurts. It like usually it's like, ooh, that's a sting.
It's
like,
probably the same pain in a different area.
Yeah, like
it's like one of my buddies had this hot sauce that he got from like somewhere in Mexico.
I was gonna say I'm a hot sauce guy.
I forget what it was, but like he had this little I don't know, rite of passage in his apartment. He's like, okay, it was called La Bombe, and you had to put a
Da
little
Bomb or La Bombe?
La Bombe.
Okay.
And you had to put a little drop of it on your finger and then lick it. And he put it in wrapped it in paper towels, put it in a Ziploc bag, and put it in his freezer. And he was like, or in his refrigerator. And he said, they told you that it only takes one drop for a full bucket of 911 chili. And I'm like, okay. How hot could it be, right? So he puts it on, and like at first I'm like I do it real quick, like it's gonna be like
you
physically
sneak up
hot,
on it,
like it's gonna be physically hot. It's like, dude, no, just lick it, man.
Yeah.
And he's all right. I was like, okay, and then it's just the natural thing where you're like, it's more tingly than hot, and then all of a sudden, like, eyes are watering, sweat's coming down, like snot all over my shirt. I'm like, oh, like, does it go away? Like, you think you're going to be like that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And
it's like 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, then you're like, phew. I remember we were doing it. We were young at the time. And we were drinking mixed drinks. And I was like smashing drinks. And by the time it wore off, I was like, I need to go home, guys. This was...
Me and my friends, we split a ghost pepper, and 2 of the 4 just immediately vomited. Like that's how strong it was. Their body was just like, nope, not having it. Straight out.
But meanwhile, you vomit. It doesn't change
the pain's
anything.
Still there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I had barely held back the vomit, but I drank so much goddamn milk to try to get rid of the pain that I about vomited from the milk. Because they got the gallon challenge or whatever. You can't have a gallon of milk. Well, turns out you can't slam a gallon of milk because you ate a ghost pepper either. It's just as bad.
Man, think about like the guys that are trying to gain some muscle
True.
mass. Like, you can't drink enough milk. Eat a ghost pepper.
Yeah. And then just
vitamin D milk, just load it.
And then have IBS because you just keep eating pure poison every day.
Boy, you'd just be stopped up for a while. Well, that's probably a perfect time to sign off here.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Leave us comments so we can do some more strength history and let us know who's the GOAT.
Yeah, tell me why Pujanowski is better than Big Z, and then I'll come in and tell you why you're wrong.
That's right.
Let us know who else you guys want to see, and we will avoid getting the stream canceled like we had happened this time.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
We'll pick less famous strength history topics.
No problem. See you next time.
Came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law.